Welcome to the Bishop Exchange. It's John Bishop in England and Des Bishop in New York. How are you, Des?
I'm good. I'm only here for a couple of days, so it is 6 a.m. New York time, but I've already been up for 2 hours. I stayed on Irish time. I'm going back to Ireland tonight, so it's great to continue the world traveling energy of the Bishop Exchange.
So just tell us what you've done then, because the last time we did this, you were in Ireland, and to be honest with you, when we were setting this up to do it again this week, I still thought you were in Ireland. So you've nipped back for a couple of days or something.
Yeah, just for the sake of my marriage, basically.
Yeah,
okay. There's no work associated, but I
just
wanted
come back,
to
have a shag, and then come back again.
try to impregnate this bitch and get the fuck back to Ireland. No, I'm just kidding. I just kidding. Drop off a deposit.
You can't say that.
Drop off a deposit, like going to the bank back in the day. Remember when you had to go to the bank? Do you remember? But no, no, I'm kidding. No, I listen, there's a couple of things going on. One of which is I care about my Irish career. But as far as Hannah's concerned, you know, she's doing very well, and she knows that I don't need to go back to Ireland. So there's a part of me that just wants to make sure that she knows that I cherish her as much as I cherish my Irish fan base. So I've come back to show my love to her. And then I'm heading back to do Greystones tomorrow night.
But how long have you been there? And the reason I'm asking, because I'm doing a similar thing next week. I'm over for 3 days and back. Not to have sex with anybody.
Did you book in Hannah for next week? She loves bishops. She can't get enough of the bishop.
As long as it's a bishop, it doesn't matter. As long as the baby comes out with the jawline of one of us, it's
that's
fine.
All she cares. That's all she cares about, man. That's all she cares.
But when you do that, when you do a short trip, do you like change your sleeping before you go, or do you just go, I'll just have to plow on?
I just embrace it, you know. For me, I just go, because this is such a quick trip. To be honest with you, I screwed up. This was supposed to be a longer trip, but I had my schedule wrong. So in an ideal world, I would have been here for 2 extra days. But in a short trip like this, you know when I did this a lot, not to bring down the mood, but when my parents were sick, I did a lot of these quick trips. And the benefit of them is you just stay on Greenwich Mean Time. You go to bed early if you can. You wake up early. And when you get back to the UK, you're like, I feel like I never left. So it's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah. And I get it, carbon footprint and all that, but it you know, it's just one of these moments in life.
Yeah. Plants a tree. Offset it. I remember talking to Brian Cox, Professor Brian Cox. We were both talking about gigging in Australia. And I went, how do you balance it with all of the carbon footprint thing? And he said you got to offset it. So he's giving me an offsetting account. So I'll share that.
Oh, you have an offsetting account? Can I borrow your offset?
Yeah. I've already offset your trip. Well, look, you're in New York now. I'm going to be there for a couple of days next week. But Brad, you were there last week. So right. First of all, how was your trip? Did you enjoy New York? And did you get a sense of what was going on there and just what happened?
Did you go to the Whispering Arches?
I didn't end up going to the Whispering Arches in the end.
You never went to the Whispering Arches? Fine.
No, I did. I couldn't get the time. I was going to ask you, actually, I was walking through Central Park and bumped into a celebrity and asked for a selfie. And he said, sorry, not at the moment. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just walked away. And then after it happened, I was thinking, I wonder what you guys think about that and like what your experience been of, like, have you ever had to reject a selfie?
John, what's your I have opinions.
You have opinions? Well, I'd say I was at the match. I was at the match 2 weeks ago, and Liverpool Ipswich. And I was sat at the table, so my dad's got a table where you go and have a bit of a feed before the game and so on. But it's a relatively busy lounge, and most of the time it's fine, and people come over, and I always take them away from the table and go, all right, yeah, but I don't want to have a photograph sat with me dad. Do you know what I mean? And this kid came over, young lad came over, just as I was middle of eating my food, and I just said, look, can we do it later? Can we go? as we go out to the seats, I'll do it over there. And then he never came back. And then I spent the afternoon almost looking for this kid, because then I felt bad because I'd said no to him. But there's a little bit where you go, just like if you see someone eating or you see someone in conversation, just leave them and do it afterwards. I don't mind doing them. And there's also been awkward bits as well where you assume people are waiting. I remember being in London at the lights, and there was some kids who were about 13, 14. There were 5 or 6 of them. And they were sort of looking at the phones and then looking at me as we stood by this crossing. And they're looking, and I'm looking at them. And then in the end, I just said, do you want a picture? And they went, okay. They were like these Spanish kids who were looking at the phone to try and get the maps out. And then you got this middle-aged man going up to go, hey, do you want a picture? I felt like such a dick.
I'm good, P. Diddy. P. Diddy, I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah. So I never offer. But you because you get in an awkward situation, but I also don't want to say no to people. It's just that at times you've got to. There was one time where I went absolutely not. Was at a fucking funeral. I was at a funeral. This is true. Someone came up to me and said, "John, can I have a picture?" And I went, "Absolutely fucking not." I just couldn't believe I was being asked at a funeral.
You get a selfie at the wake with the fucking dead body.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
3 of us, one last time.
Come on, it's what he would have wanted. Yeah. So my view is, I don't mind if it's quick and it's done, but I am getting more and more. I understand more and more. There's an American approach. In fact, Stephen Gerrard said this to me. He'd been to a thing and Denzel Washington. Someone come over to Denzel Washington and asked for a picture, and Denzel Washington said, "Not now. I'm not working." And so Stephen said he thought that was a useful way of saying to people, look, just not now. Do you know what I mean? This isn't the occasion for it.
I mean, I feel like, because Cillian Murphy does not take selfies, like, as a rule, right?
Yeah.
And he always says, "I'll talk to you." You know, like, "I'll talk to you. I just don't want to take a selfie." And I think that's fair enough. It's like across the board. He's not rude to anybody, but he's just like, hey, like, how are you? He's happy to have a chat, but he just doesn't want to take a selfie. But I always say to him that, like, I think it's easier for actors because you're playing other people, whereas comedians, like, we're being ourselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would never, like, say no. The only time is just like you said, when it's just like a weird moment, where you have to stop eating, or, sometimes it's like annoying if you're like literally mid-sentence in a conversation and then somebody comes up and you're just like, can I finish my point?
With that, it's like Cillian says, I don't want a selfie, but I'm happy to talk to you. Selfie takes 20 seconds. And in reality, they don't want to talk to you that much. They just want something to send on to other people. And I'm like, I'm good with, like, okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
If you start getting into a conversation, you can end up spending longer. And listen, it's a pleasure to be asked. It's a pleasure that people are bothered. And you'd be more bothered when people stop. I think you just have to be fair with people and do, just say, I don't mind it. Can I ask you though, Brad, how did it make you feel? Did you feel awkward after?
I felt embarrassed, but it's true what you were saying, that, like, really I only wanted to take the picture because I wanted to send it to my friend, which is not really a good reason to ask someone for a picture. And I think next time I would think to myself, do I really need this picture?
Yeah, do you really want it? Yeah, exactly. It's become a thing where it's counting heads. And
well, I was reading a Reddit thread yesterday about how John Bishop said no to a selfie to this kid at a Caribou Cup match, and they were saying he forgot where he came from.
Yeah. Oh, you get all that. I've had that as well.
Oh, I've had that. You'll only ever hear back about the bad ones. Did I tell you the story about how my selfies have changed? Did I tell that story?
The selfies have changed.
Yeah. So, sometimes, like, some young, attractive person, like somebody in their like
Oh.
early 20s will come up and they'll be like, "Hey, can I get a selfie?" And in my head, I'll be like, "Well, I still got it, bro. Still got it."
Still got
and
it.
then they selfie comes out and they go, "My mother loves you."
I know. Hey, you'll get mother. I've had nan. On more than one occasion, me nan loves you.
I still think I'm down with the kids,
I know, mate. Honest to God. So, but listen, now here's the thing. Before we get into everything else, because it has been since we last spoke. We did the last one, which was taking some.
Oh yeah,
phone
it's nearly
calls.
been 2 weeks.
But the last time we physically spoke, it's been a while. Loads has gone on in the world. Loads has gone on. Like, there's been the Super Bowl. Loads of cultural things. There's been the Super Bowl. Liverpool got to the final of the Carabao Cup, which is exactly like the Super Bowl. What else was the other big
Ireland
sport?
beat Scotland.
Oh, yeah. Ireland beat Scotland because the Six Nations is going on at the
Rugby.
same time that this is happening, which is
Can I
rugby.
say something quick about that? So when I was flying back, my flight was actually delayed. So I was able to watch the Ireland Scotland match, but I was literally watching it like when I got on the plane. I was still watching the Ireland Scotland match on my phone, like before we took off, obviously, and. Then I got to New York, and literally the minute I got into the apartment, the Super Bowl started. And let me tell you, trying to watch American football after watching Six Nations rugby, it's like somebody hit the slow-mo button. I couldn't. It took me like a full quarter to get into the pace change. Rugby is so much better. And I'm sorry to American people that they've embraced this as part of their culture, but rugby is the superior sport.
Well, this is exactly what I was going to ask you, because you've got the two things going on parallel. So first of all, for those people who didn't see Ireland, Scotland, explain what happened, explain the game. In fact, explain rugby, because I know we've got American listeners, but basically what you have with these big athletic guys with crash helmets on and body armor and all that, rugby is that, but faster, more aggressive, and without any protection apart from a gum shield.
A gum yeah. I mean, it's first of all, it's like if the origin of American football is some sort of evolution from rugby, the evolution is so far now that it's the same as gorillas and humans. We've evolved that far from our initial connection.
Yeah.
Right. It's so funny you say describe rugby. Like, so one time Hannah's grandparents were over. And Hannah's grandfather, like very American all his life, loves sport though. And coincidentally enough, Ireland were playing England. I think it was like 2 years ago. It was also Six Nations this time of year. And I had the Six Nations on, and he sat down with me, and I had to fucking explain it. And I was like, it's not that easy to explain, especially because every year there's a new fucking rule. So I had to be like, actually, this year, I don't even know why the fuck that was a penalty, because it was fine last year. So rugby's very hard to explain because a lot of it, he was like a scrum collapsed, and he was like, why is that a penalty? And I was like, it's subjective. None of us know why.
Well, it's funny because I never played rugby, and my cousins did. In fact, one of my cousins played at a very high level, and one of my other cousins is an international rugby referee. But I don't know the rules. I just the Six Nations is an event for those people who don't know that involves the main rugby playing nations, rugby union playing nations. So it's England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, France and Italy.
Yes.
They're the Six Nations that play every year in this round robin thing. And it's that has become this cultural event within Europe that people like me who don't really watch rugby will watch the Six Nations. But as a global event, the Super Bowl bowls everything out of the water, because there's people over there are getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the whole thing, and it's a 5-hour event.
And it is a cultural phenomenon, and the halftime show, and all that stuff. But as a sport, I get into it. I eventually get into it, but it is quite tedious to go through the whole thing. So, I don't have that much to add. Other than that.
This year, so the Eagles won. Everyone was expecting.
It was a three-peat. They were going for the three-peat, and they got trounced trounce.
they?
And this,
The
the
Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah.
But it's Patrick Mahomes, and he was basically, it's funny because Tom Brady was commentating, who's the GOAT,
The GOAT,
right?
yeah.
And then there was all this talk about, is Patrick Mahomes going to solidify himself as the GOAT? Brady never did the 3 in a row. And I think you could feel the understated joy in Tom Brady's voice as Mahomes got annihilated. And then there was this drama, which was the Chiefs really embraced Trump. Trump was coming. Trump went, right?
Yeah.
So the Chiefs really embraced him, and Patrick Mahomes' wife has openly admitted that she's a Trump supporter, and they all just said essentially positive diplomatic things about the president coming. They didn't bend the knee, but they were in fairness, I didn't think they deserved the criticism they got, but they were just being politically diplomatic, which is like, it's great that the president is supporting us. But
Can I just say he is the first sitting president, isn't he, to attend the Super Bowl?
Which is a whole other thing, John. I don't know if we have time to get through all this, but the thing is that the Eagles guy, who I think it was the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, I think it was him, but either way, one of the Eagles guys was basically like, I don't give a fuck that Trump is coming. So then all the people that don't like Trump really embraced the Eagles, and the Eagles became the neutrals team.
Yeah.
So there was just a lot going on, like a lot, And then Trump got cheered and Taylor Swift got booed. So, there was
So
a
why
lot.
did Taylor Swift get booed?
Well, I think the Eagles fans were booing her because,
right.
well, and also the MAGA people hate Taylor Swift because she supported Kamala.
Right.
So the MAGA people were probably booing her, and then the Eagles people were definitely booing her because she's going out with Travis Kelce, who's the tight end for the Chiefs. So, in fairness, is this enough? Are we up to speed here?
Yeah, no. I tell you what it is, though. It's one of those things where, because it's, again, there'll be a lot of British people who only ever see that one game if they see anything of it. I mean, it's reported on the news here. Well, in fact, not even here. I woke up in Spain on Monday morning, and it was on the international news in Spain that the Super Bowl had been won. And I'm thinking, surely people in Spain don't give a shit about.
But some
the
of them
Super
do.
Bowl.
I mean,
but it's become such a. It is become. And it's amazing because it's like Gaelic sports. There's only people in America who really play American football, but the result of the biggest game each year is a global news item. And that's,
yes.
and like Gaelic football, Gaelic football is just, in fact, I was thinking about that.
Are you trying to compare the All Ireland to the Super Bowl?
No, yeah, what I'm trying to compare it is that you've got this nation, and they're the only ones who really play it. I know you get a bit of American football elsewhere,
yeah.
but listen, the All Ireland Gaelic sports themselves, hurling and Gaelic football, or must have been for you as a teenage kid arriving in Ireland, thinking, "What on earth is this?"
Nah, because we already played. So
I
was familiar.
Yeah.
We played up in the North Bronx, and my grandfather, came from Kilcoo County Down, which still has this great Gaelic football tradition. And in my house, there were pictures of, Kilcoo football team 1923 or whatever. So I was 100% familiar with Gaelic football and somewhat familiar with hurling. And actually, the two All Irelands that Cork won the double in 1990, the team that I actually supported through my father and my grandmother. Cork won the double. The first thing that I did when I got to Ireland was watch Cork win the Gaelic football and the hurling All Ireland. Teddy McCarthy and all those boys, and Danny Culleton, who was a Yank. They called him Danny the Yank Culleton, and so I was immediately baptized into the Gaelic tradition. So none of it was a shock to me. And the All Ireland is great, but it definitely can't be compared to the Super Bowl.
No,
there's not the same political drama to be like, Willie O'D from Limerick was in the stands and he got booed. He got booed by the Kilkenny supporters.
But so Trump got cheered, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah,
I missed the cheer.
Yeah,
I just walked in after that.
He's gone he was fucking nuts, and he's gone mad this last week. It's just the gates have unleashed with Trump just saying shit.
It's crazy. It is crazy. And do you know what's even crazier? I kind of give up a little bit in terms of like when you live in Europe, right? I've been in Ireland since Trump got elected. You really have no concept of American feeling, because a poll came out. Literally, I saw it this morning when I woke up at 4 a.m. that Trump's approval rating is the highest it's ever been. So the madness is obviously quite appealing. We put it to the phones. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Go on. When you said we put it to the phones, what do you mean?
We put it out to the Bishop Exchange listeners.
Did we?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
No, well, well, just to put in context where I've been. So I've been on a motorbike for 4 days. I went over to Spain on Thursday, and literally all I've done is ride a motorbike. It's been absolutely brilliant, and everything that you could imagine it'd be. Going up these mountain paths, we have to do all this off-road riding, so I've done this training in the quarry first, and then me and 3 mates off-road riding with this guide, and like nowhere, honest to God, you're just passing goats and big bulls with big horns. They just stood there watching you, blocking the path for you. Honest to God. So I've just sort of, and then you get to a hotel of a night in some little tavern somewhere. But the last couple of days we were in more international type hotels where I was picking up the news. And I was thinking, have I been in a time warp? Because like in 5 days, he just seems to have took the head off himself and just said everything that's come out of his mouth. You went from
your midlife crisis to focusing on the global crisis.
Exactly.
Look after your midlife crisis first.
First, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, so, I wanted, because obviously I have my opinions about the crazy, the frightening, the frightening, you want to know the truth. If you really want to know the truth, I do get the catastrophizing feeling of like, is this the end of the system as we know it, and are we heading towards authoritarianism? Okay, that's my fear. That's in me now, and I think it's rational. But I didn't want to be guided by just my own feelings about Trump. So I put it out on my Instagram yesterday evening. Does anybody want to message in about how they feel about all the... Because normally you wouldn't have much of an opinion in the first few weeks, but this has been the most eventful first few weeks of a presidency in my lifetime, with the added thing of the Elon Musk kind of, coming in, corporate sort of downsizing of all these government institutions. So it's fucking chaos. Right. And some people love the chaos because they think, after the chaos will come this new way, and they have faith in it. So I wanted to put it out to the listeners. So are you content with hearing some opinions that might focus our chat?
Yeah. Listen, fire away, yeah.
Brad, hit us with one.
Hey guys, love the pod so far. This is Courtney from Texas, and my thoughts on our second Trump administration are: number one, he's totally pussy whipped by Elon. This guy Trump, our president, is totally scared of Elon, totally up his butt, totally obsessed with him, and is like a girl that will do anything to get a guy to like him. Get terrified by it or laugh it off. But if there are any federal employees listening, remember the oath you took to the Constitution, and remember your rights, because we are all depending on you. Bye.
Yes.
Wow. That was a phrase.
As you can see, the depth of feeling here in the States it's very calm.
Yeah, pussy whipped by Elon Musk. I saw a thing actually. This is interesting. So I was in this hotel in Cadiz yesterday morning. So Cadiz is a city. I think it's the most southwesterly city, or around the southwest area anyway, in southern Spain. Woke up in this hotel, and I'm flicking it on. It's all Spanish telly. Then it came on to BBC International News, and then I heard the mad shit that was going on. I thought I'll flick over. And the next English speaking channel was like a National Geographic channel that was doing a program about supercar factories or super factories for cars. And it was a program about Tesla and how Tesla were bringing the cars to the marketplace. And it was obviously at the early stages. And Elon Musk was in it. And he looked normal. And he looked different than the Elon Musk that you see now. He looked like and he was talking calmly and all that stuff. And you go from whenever this was filmed, which might have been, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, to this Nazi saluting fucking megalomaniac who's got free reign over the government. And like it's mental. From an outsider's point of view, it is mental.
What it looks like to me is people with their own agendas that are able to change everything to their liking. And what really worries me is he is heavily idealistic about what his perception of what it should be. One man's perception of where we should be going, which to me, it looks like he's been radicalized in the last 10 years, which is part of what you're saying. So you have this radicalized man just like with the Thor's hammer just coming in and exploding up the way government runs. And I don't know if that level of disruption, I think it works for taxis, but I don't know if it works for the bureaucracy that organizes 350 million people.
Because also what you've got to look at is you've got Elon Musk who can shape the narrative. And you know,
because he runs Twitter, but they run all, they have all the power. They have because they have Meta on side now. You know, they have Google on side. Google Maps already changed. Google Maps already changed Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America.
I mean, this is like, but this is fucking crazy. This is the bit where you go, everybody fell in line. Everybody, they all turned up and put money. It was like a mafia wedding. They all turned up at his inauguration, put money in the sack, saying, there you go, good luck here, and please don't kill me on the way out. It's like that. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, no one got the balls to stand up and go, mate, this is, you don't need them. You've got enough wealth. At what point does the wealth give you independence of thought? And they're not, they're just falling in line. And you're thinking, are you edging your bets that you think they won't come for you at some point?
I think
authoritarian history. If you look at history, what happens? They get this small group that then become wealthy and rule everything. But you can fall on the wrong side of that group. And so if you try to cozy up with them when it's not your natural place to be, you'll get found out. And I just don't get it. But also, I mean, without going down a rabbit hole here, because again, But
it's fascinating. We're just two guys chatting about the end of the world.
I know, but what I mean is, when you're talking about it, you feel sometimes there must be another level of knowledge that you don't have. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, well, just maybe there isn't. Because like all
it's
the
just
stuff,
humanity,
all the stuff he's saying about Gaza and all that stuff, you're going.
We haven't even got into that yet.
Yeah, you go. You literally, as the leader of the free world just said, will empty that sovereign state of its citizens. We will empty it. It'll become a real estate project, and then we'll create, and other countries can have them. They'll just have them, and then we might let some of them back. And that's being said.
If there's a new fascism, let's just say hypothetically, right? If there's a new fascism that's coming from this core group, he knows that the target this time isn't Jews, it's DEI and woke and immigrants. That's the Jews and the gypsies and the Catholics that were from the previous iteration of fascism, right? So now it's DEI, woke, immigrants, the radical left. I mean, Trump talks about like basically centrist Democrats as radical left lunatics. So the whole setup is there. The extremes, the incendiary language. It's all there. And some people think that there's a sort of an understated genius of Trump that he says shit like that to get everybody talking. But
you find it hard that as a comic, you're trying to find jokes in something that's actually not that funny.
I've never tried to find jokes in it because I just you know what it is? I feel like with this for me, it's this is like Breaking Bad, you know, and
Like Breaking Bad.
as in like I can't take my eyes away from it. This
Right.
this nightmare scenario that's happening. But I don't expect too many laughs. I don't get inspired with comedy. I just get depressed, and then I find my comedy in other stuff. I've never been able to find the jokes. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you. It's like when we were having the Brexit thing, you'd say stuff in a room, on stage, and you could feel half the audience as soon as you said the word Brexit. Half the audience are angry for one reason, the other half are angry for another reason, and you go like,
but I think
you can't avoid the big thing in the news, but then you can't. There's no way you can make a humorous comment about 10,000 people losing their jobs with an email from Elon Musk.
Yeah,
there's just no humour in it, but it's right in the middle of the zeitgeist. It's right in the moments of you wake up in the morning to see what other madness is taking place.
and I understand the allure. Let's take Brexit as an example, right? The allure of let's blow the whole thing up because it's so staid and inefficient, and it doesn't suit our needs, without getting into the whole Brexit thing of the lies. But just like, I understand the allure of like, let's blow this thing up and start afresh. But in actual reality, like, it's just not that simple. And Brexit is a perfect example of how 10 years later, or 9 years later, we're still stuck in a
mess.
yeah. So I really feel like this will be similar. But Brad, we actually have somebody positive about Trump, because I want to go back to old school BBC, RTE. You need to give both sides balance. You remember balance in the media? Do you remember that? So go ahead, Brad. Give us a supporter.
So I am a former super, super, super liberal woman who voted for Donald Trump in this election. My politics have changed a lot over the last 4 or 5 years. For a variety of reasons. And I am happy with what Trump is doing. I have never particularly liked his manner, like how he does things, how he talks about issues. But I also think that a lot of that is strategic and intentionally designed to shake up the way people think about politics, about politicians, about how things can be done, and shakes up the conventions of the system. And I think that that's what a lot of people who voted for him really want. So I can even appreciate the manner in which he does things, like the bombastic stuff. I am particularly happy about some of the changes he's made for the military. My husband's in the Army, and there have been a lot of negatives to the way the military's been going. So that makes me happy.
Nice and honest.
Yeah, I have to say, I can see it. I can see it. That's the thing. There's certain things every now and again. Donald Trump will say something. You go, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. And then as a more liberal person, you feel, no, I shouldn't think that. Well, you should do. If someone's saying something good, you should think it's good. And like certain things that he's obviously done with the military is positive.
I don't actually know. I don't know what she's talking about on that, so I don't.
I think he just made it clear of support, hasn't he? And he's done a few things about payments and so on. But one of the things I have to say is, I am amazed at the two callers we've had on air, because I don't know who's listening to this podcast. I think basically what we're doing, we're just doing the phone call we would normally have. I'm really good in it, and I'm surprised that we've got such, I don't know, seemingly intelligent people phoning up.
Yeah,
and and making valid arguments, because at the end of the day, as I understand it, of the popular vote, he won 0.5% more. That was the win, but because of the college system, it gave him this what apparently looks like a landslide. So he's got a mandate. He's got the power. The American people that have bought a ticket on the ride, it is going to be a roller coaster.
So this lady, so I 100% understand, and I also remember in 2016 saying to myself, by my assumption, this guy is not good for America. However, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and maybe, just maybe, just like now with the Elon Musk thing, maybe this type of essentially disruption will be good for America. But in the end, even though he gets incredible amounts of credit for the good run we were on from 2016 until the pandemic, I don't actually think he did much, and his actual regime was quite dysfunctional, and all the great talent that he hired all got fired, and all the things that he said he was good at, he wasn't, right? So I 100% understand where she's coming from, and I think it's also fine to have hope, but I do also think that there's this weird sort of go-to position with Trump, which is that there's this underlying genius behind some of the chaos. And I didn't see that in the 4 years leading up to the 3 years leading up to the pandemic, and he absolutely failed on the pandemic. And the jury's out on this time, but I think that for some reason, Trump gets a pass on a lot of bad shit that other politicians don't get.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But I also understand where she's coming from, because I don't defend the system. I don't defend the Democrats. I think the system needs massive reform. So I 100% understand that she thinks she might get it from Trump. And I know that in America, a lot of people are motivated by, they felt that society went too far with wokeness, and that there were elements of society that felt, they felt a little bit, that conversation wasn't as free as it used to be. So I get all this stuff that's in the back of their mind. I just don't think that this is the solution, but I understand where she's coming from, and I really appreciate her having the confidence to message in.
Have you seen the film The Apprentice?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, you should see. You should see. It's a good film, and like it's interesting because you say, well, it's a little bit like The Sopranos is about the mafia. Do you know what I mean? There's obviously dramatization in it, but there are elements when we're talking about this person and the power that he's got where you think, I don't know how they've got away with this. I don't know how they've inferred that he's done. They've made it blatant that he's corrupt. They've made it blatant that he's sexist. All of these things are within this character. That is Donald Trump. He's not even pretending to not be Donald Trump. It's 100% a biopic of Donald Trump. And you think everyone's getting sued for everything, and he's not sued this movie. Not that I'm aware of. He's certainly not been able to stop it. And it is, if it's got any credibility, it's the kind of thing where you look at it and go, I can't believe the American people will give all the power to that man.
It's like, does nobody want to get into the hypocrisy of listening to this guy with a lifetime of corruption? Talking about how everything suddenly in the government is corrupt. It's like, bro, you fucking ran the thing for 4 years. You didn't fucking notice then? It's crazy that people don't even realize that he was in charge for 4 fucking years. It was only 4 years ago that he was fucking in charge. But they don't care. Anyway, that's enough. I've had enough.
Yeah, I'm also 100% comfortable with all this. I don't think everything should be a gag fest, and I think there should be a little bit about what's going on in the world. Otherwise, it runs out of steam. So I'm happy with that.
Will we wrap it up?
Well, so you're there.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving tonight. I'll be back. I'm on stage in Greystones tomorrow night. Greystones, County Wicklow, back on tour in Ireland. So
I don't know Greystones. What's Greystones?
It's like a suburb of Dublin these days. They might get offended by me saying that, but they have a great little venue there called the Whale Theatre. So I'm doing Wednesday, Thursday night there, and then I'm off to the West Coast. But yeah, I got the one show that I'm plugging now is I added another Olympia Theatre. So if you're in Dublin,
have you?
Go,
when's that?
February 27th. Well, I'm doing the 26th, 27th, 28th. So I put on the 27th. So that's come to that Thursday night, and I got a few tickets left for my show in Belfast. That's basically it.
Well, we're back on the road, aren't we, Brad? When are we? Not tomorrow.
Thursday.
No, I'm going to go and see Deirdre O'Kane tomorrow.
Hey, we're doing a charity gig.
Yeah, so I'm going to see Deirdre with Stephen Mullen.
Oh, Stephen's coming over?
Isn't Stephen doing a support? Deirdre's support.
Oh, you're going to see Stephen with Deirdre. Yeah, oh, that's great. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's why he's not open for me this week. Because he's my guy. He's my guy.
It's great. He's funny. So we're going to see them tomorrow, and then we're back on the road in Weymouth, aren't we, Brad? And then And then we're doing that, and then I'm coming over there for a couple of days, and then we've got that charity gig the week after, which is sold out. So we don't have to necessarily...
No, but we'll be together,
it,
John.
but we'll talk about it, because that means that... So not next week's pod, but the one after will be in the same place.
We'll be in the same place. Yeah.
That'll be good. That'll be good. So basically getting back on the road, which I've got to be honest, I'm looking forward to doing. I mean, we did the last...
Are you telling
gig,
everybody about the pod?
No, I will do now, because the pod didn't exist when I did my last gig.
You have? I thought you did a show last week.
No, I've done no gigs since Australia. That's right, isn't it, Brad?
Yeah, because I've
been
telling all the crowds to listen to the pod. So
yeah. And we were thinking of doing, actually, we were going to do a little trailer for it, because what I've got. So I did the filming at the Comedy Cellar. So I got the first edit of that. So we're looking to probably get that out this month, and then
that's fast.
And we want to put trailers up. We want to put trailers up of both. Because I've said to him, well, what's the point of having it there? Get it out. And then
that's
get the
great.
Second one out, get the third one
That's
out.
great.
But yeah, so we're going to have little trailers and direct people to the pod.
Oh, that's great.
So I think that'll be cool. I'm looking forward
to
it.
And hey, we thank you everybody for your feedback. Thanks for the messages.
Listen,
we gotta up the Irish and UK contributions to the audio though.
I know, yeah, we got loads of Americans, Canadians. I've got to say something. Actually, I've got to say this before we go. In fact, this could be a thing for people to phone in, and I'll see if I'll send Brad the photograph and see if he can put it somewhere. So I fell off the bike. Right, let me explain what I'm. So we were doing this enduro sport where you ride motorbikes, but you're going on these shale roads, so you're not on normal roads, and you're on little mountain paths and so on, and you've got to learn how to do it. You do it quite slow, you're not racing, but you can fall off. And I was on a big bike, big BMW bike, so they're quite heavy, so if you fall quite a long way, and you've got to get out the way of the bike so it doesn't fall on your leg. But I had this inflatable vest. And what happened when I first started riding motorbikes, which is only over a year ago, I took some advanced training with a fellow called Ian Biederman from BMW, and he took me out on the bikes and showed me how to do advanced training on the road. And when we finished, he took his jacket off and he had this vest and with like a battery pack on the back. I said, what's that? He said, it's an air vest. He said, I recommend you get one. He said, if you fall off, he said, you've got to register the vest. He said, so that it sends messages to the internet or wherever it goes, to the iCloud, and it's registering everyone who's riding these vests. He said, so it learns the technology of knowing when someone falls off. He said, so if you fall off within 0.6 of a second, it inflates and it protects your neck and it protects your body and protects your back. He said, they're brilliant. I said, did they work? He said, I don't know, I've never fell off. so I thought, I'm going to invest in it, and I got one. And I fell off the bike, and as I'm falling through the air, it went poof, and it blew up, and I've got a photograph of me, and I'm like the big fat fella with this big vest inside my jacket. But what an invention! So if we're going to get anyone to phone up, because we've had the Trump call, I'd like to hear what people think is the best invention that they've got in their life or their house, or that they ever think has been invented.
Yes, other than the smartphone, not the smartphone.
Not the smartphone. Because I couldn't believe this thing worked as well as it did. I couldn't believe it. But I've got to send you the picture. The picture is so funny. I'm sat there. It looks like I pissed me pants. I'm just sat there with a big fat belly and a naughty face on me. So funny. And the motorbike's miles away behind me.
Wow, so that you had that kind of a fall?
Yeah. But like, as I say, it was not very fast. And you know what I mean? It's not a dangerous fall. I didn't think so.
You sound like motorcycle people just end up in a denial about how unsafe they are, but that's great that it worked out.
No. Actually, what was good, we were all on the road, and as I say, with three mates, but at the end of it, we're all sat there going, that was brilliant. But all the way through, because we're doing all these winding roads as well, through the mountains of Andalusia, and there's this thing, a psychology, where what you do when you're riding the motorbike is you look where you want to go, and that's where you go. You naturally take yourself there. But the thing is not to look where you don't want to go. And we're going on these mountain paths with literally the odd boulder or something, and you can't help but look. And you find yourself going, honest to God, it's one of those things where you want to enjoy the view, but if you look at the view for too long, you go fucking right over the edge. It's bizarre psychology, bizarre.
Yeah, it's the same with skiing, actually.
All aware. Yeah, same with skiing. Same with skiing. So we're all completely aware that we could have died, but it was great.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
So that's great. So next week's prompt, next week's episode, we want the best modern invention for your life, other than the smartphone. And the link for leaving it, the Telby, the website's called Telby. There's one on my Instagram. I think there's one on your Instagram. But you can click on my links and you'll see it there. Leave a message. Thanks. And you know what, Brad? We could also do.
I've sent you that picture. There's the picture. You can't see because of the light. I'll send you that picture on the phone. Brad will post it. So it's
Brad will post it.
Yeah.
So also, what was I going to say? Maybe Brad, you could play out a couple more of the Trump ones after we say goodbye, because all these people messaged in. We might as well give our listeners the flavor of what's coming in on the Telby. So after we say goodbye, maybe you can share with some more Trump thoughts from the listeners of the Bishop Exchange.
Would that be a good thing? People would be having questions and no answers.
It's not a question. It's they're like rants about
people
Trump.
Saying things.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
About Trump, because I put it out on my Instagram. What do you think about Trump so far?
Oh, right. If that was the phrase, Brad, let him know.
Yeah. So but that's fine. We do that on the burner phone all the time.
All right. So thanks for all your comments. We'll play some more of those additional comments that we haven't played in. That Des mentioned. He's asked people to phone in with their views of Donald Trump, so you can share all them as part of this community. Thank you for being part of the congregation again today.
Yes.
Thanks, Brad, for your comments and for letting us know that we have to say yes to anyone who ever asks for a selfie.
Exactly.
Or we'll become publicly shamed. And tell us what you think your best invention is.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Fuck, motherfucker, fuck. I have nothing articulate to say because every ounce of reason and sense has left my body because of how fucked up this is. Everything, immigration, just defunding science and, we think you should be able to get fired or not hired because you're a woman or because of your age. We just think, fuck it, you're on your own. I don't know. Insulin costs $400. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What is wrong? I can't. I just can't. Motherfucker. Fuck. That's it. That's all I got.
Guys, I don't know. I don't know what to think about Trump. I mean, personally, as a person, I think he's a turd. I didn't vote for him, but I also didn't vote for Kamala. I voted for RFK. So, honestly, I just get overwhelmed with the amount of information and emotions flying around because I'm also very empathetic. And I understand the strong feelings that people are having. I don't know. I'm just trying to do my best with my little family and my community and hope that ripples out,
Hi, Des and brother. I honestly thought this was for burner phone, but fucking greetings to the Bishop Exchange. Fucking love it. Thoughts on Trump? I am from Canada, and I will say I hate Trump with every ounce in my fucking body. Holy fuck. The only good thing that I will say will come for this is that Canada is not going to be fucking idiots for this upcoming election, and I felt like they were going to be until this. So that is the one good thing to come from it. I am so fucking sorry to everybody that lives in America. I'm so fucking sorry to all of my fellow women that live in America and my other groups that are minorities and everything. I'm so fucking disgusted and upset for everybody, and I'm so fucking sorry. Yeah, anyway, shaking. Had to let that out. It's so fucking disgusting. Don't know. Dez's brother. Love you both. Love you, Dez.
I guess it's not even like Trump, like thoughts that I mean, obviously I have a lot of thoughts about Trump as just a woman of color living in the United States. But my questions are and my thoughts are more directed at these diehard fans of Trump. Just because I feel like in any other world that we have right now with like social media, like even influencers, like people can get canceled so easily nowadays, which in part is a good thing. But we can't cancel like the president for like all the fuck shit going on. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. I just want to know your thoughts about like Trump supporters. Like I feel like it's a little bit harder for me to like really try to level with them and like understand their perspective.